What is up, guys? This is episode 8 of
Eight,
Bronx
Ocho.
Banter. Let's go, baby. I'm
What up, what
David.
up, what up, what up?
That is Justin.
That is I, and that is David who is speaking.
He is him. Um, the episode 8. How we feeling? How we're doing? What's going on?
Vibes are definitely great. Shout out to y'all and this last video that we had, David.
Insane.
It is actually insane. We were so excited. Thank you guys for all the support for real. What did we cap out like around 140 like views around there? Like that's
146.
insane.
146 views. To put that in perspective, that same video in the beginning, I should have gotten a haircut for this special moment. But I feel all kinds of hairy. But no, so I remember in that same video that we got 146 views. Thank you so much, guys, for all the support. Um, we were like blown away because the previous video we had 25 views in like the first 2 days or first day or something like that. So it's funny just to just watch that video. And if you haven't already, check it out. And if you haven't already, I don't know what you're doing because clearly plenty of you guys loved it. Yeah, is the video that doesn't just have the most views. It's more than doubled our previous best viewed video, has the most likes of any video, the most interaction and comments by you guys. So thank you guys. Don't think we missed a comment. I think we were able to reply to every comment that was there or liked it. So if you want more of the interaction, if you want to hear more directly from us, continue to drop comments, continue to like, continue to show the support. We were so happy to know that you guys loved the last video. So thank you, guys. It's truly a blessing. And I know we're talking like we got 1,000 subs, which we hope we can.
Hey
We
man,
literally
gotta be excited.
we can't get a single view without that one person and without it being you. So thank you for the 146 of you that watched our video, and for the 10 of you that liked it. And I think we grew by 4 subscribers just that video alone. So
Mhm.
which for us is very big as well. So taking big steps. Thank you guys so much. And we
Appreciate
hope
it, y'all.
you could just continue the support and bringing out good content that you love, because that's really what it's all
Yeah,
about.
David, you got to step it up, all right? All
I
right.
know,
We're
man. I
talking to
know.
150 around 150 people, okay? Let's get it, okay?
Breaking the fourth wall. We're over here like a little like, oh man, we got to come back strong and double down. We can't have a sophomore slump, like so. So yeah, man, it's awesome. We could be talking about this all day, but it really is awesome. Thank you guys so much for the support, and let us know what else you want to hear from us as we continue to make content for you guys. Um, any things that we're not doing that you'd like to see. Um, and this is a small little batch of community. It's the greatest time to be a part of Bronx Banter, because you have a huge say in kind of what goes on. So
Yeah, we definitely got to get better at math too, David. We can't be messing up no more. Like we got to take this serious, all right?
yeah, someone called us out because we got the math thing wrong. Hope none of you guys cringed at that. I know I did. But we recovered. So
Mm.
but yeah, we'll definitely get better at math. This is not a math podcast. This is a baseball podcast. Um so all the analytics does the math for us. We kind of just read it out. But
Mathing,
anyways,
mathing. But all right. You ready to
yeah.
go to like a darker subject, with these Yankees? Because
Yeah. Yeah, all smiles are gone now. We're gonna talk about the Yankee. No, just kidding. So jumping right into it though, there's not a whole lot to be super excited about for as a Yankees fan, especially when you think about what our expectations were this year, even reflecting back on last year and everything. But just even if we were to forget the whole season and focus on this last series with Boston, that alone hurts. It was kind of like twisting the knife. We
mm,
got swept by the Boston Red Sox,
the
which,
Boston Red Sox,
as I've
our
mentioned,
rivals, who don't
yes,
even seem like rivals at this point.
yeah,
That's how bad it is.
they were a team again, as I mentioned in the last video, which were in a real retooling slash rebuilding phase. And not only are they in wild card contention, they swept us pretty badly too. So
What's the streak at, David? We
eight
have
in
a
a row.
streak. Wait, it's a streak, but it's the wrong kind of streak, bruh.
I was telling you, we have a longer losing streak than we do a winning streak this year. A 5 game winning or 4 game winning streak, I think, and then the losing streak is up to 8 and counting. So let's see as we
He
head.
said, and counting. He said, watch us get swept by the Nationals too, y'all.
Rodon is pitching, so we don't know what kind of Rodon we'll get.
I'm hoping a great one.
I'm
What if
hoping
he just goes off, low key? What if he's like, I've been cooking, y'all. Let
a
me
little,
cook.
a little, a little too late, but I'll take it. I'll be happy to see a good Rodon as we head into the next season. So, but to put in perspective with this Boston series, we lost 3-7, which it was at one point I think 7-1 or 7-0.
And Apple TV, which is,
Yeah, we
just
if you
cringe
don't
as it is. So
if you
yeah,
don't know, we love Apple TV. We don't love
love
the
the
announcers.
cinematography. Ooh,
Yeah, the
beautiful,
cinematography is great. The
stellar.
graphics are great. They got to figure out their
Announcers could be better, but hey, that's just opinion. But yeah,
facts. No. And then we lost 1-8, and then we lost
love
five to
that.
six in what was kind of a heartbreak.
Was it though?
I mean, we saw it. We saw it coming. Volpe, and we'll talk a little bit more about him later. He was going crazy. He actually went 4-for-11, one home run, one double. And he had literally that last game, he got a 3-run shot that got us tied up. And then he got a clutch double that game or single, I think it was a double though, that led to what would have been a tied game, but then there was a controversial play at home plate.
Mm.
So, how
Yeah.
you want to
How do you
talk
feel
about
about
that a
that
little
play,
bit?
David? To be honest, I know, like, I think the left fielder ball with the ball, I think at first, and then he like, threw a dart to like Trevor Story, and then Trevor Story that threw that dart at home. To to even analyze it, I'm just kind of like, that's just our luck. Like, to be honest, like, of course, a perfect throw would happen in that predicament. I'm gonna say he was out. The throw that beat him. I do think it was kind of a play that you're kind of like, you kind of question, which is why he went under review because he was ruled safe first, right? And then they overruled it, and then he was out, which is kind of heartbreaking in that sense. To be honest, the rule is kind of confusing as it is. Like, I feel like he was blocking his like lane to slide, but then again, the throw beat him, so he can do that. So there's
Mhm.
that. I don't know how you feel about it, but
Yeah, I'm not too outraged. I think if we were not to sound like that, a contending team that this game meant something, other than just our pride, which I've lost it because we're not winning. Um, then I would be a little more bothered, but I'm kind of just like, I could kind of see how, he was called out. Do you think he was
but
kind of
we all
blocked?
know why he was sent. I think Wortbed was next up to bat.
Yeah, so
Like
at
you
first I
had
was
to.
actually more upset at the third base coach. Luis Rojas has made some questionable calls over at third base, sending, not sending.
Oh, do we know?
So I immediately, my initial reaction was upset at Rojas again, but then I was like, he was trying to go for it, 2 outs. We're in the eighth inning. It was it was a close game. We're trying to get that tying run. If that run scored, that would have been a huge momentum shift. We would have been hyped. But even beyond that, I don't think he was thinking about the hype part. I think he was thinking about tying the game because it was 2 outs, and the next person up to bat was not someone you would even think to give the bat to in this type of spot. It would have been second and third, or probably first and third. And first and third, 2 outs, and Ben Rortvet, someone batting .94, was going to be up to bat.
Cashing strays over here, David. But why
So
did they take out Higgy? Higgy had a home run that game too. I'm realizing that. I'm just like, why would they take him out and like replace him? I know it was like kind of late towards the game, but still, I think
yeah,
he
I'm
should
not too sure
continue.
why. I didn't watch the full game that day, but yeah, so with that being said, I see why Rojas pushed him, but I do think that was a very aggressive play. But on the contrary, I feel like if he didn't have him go and
I do feel like it was our best chance
Rortvet like
to score
struck
though.
out or got out as he normally does, we all as Yankee fans would have been, why didn't you let him go? So I'm giving a pass on that. So So,
Yeah.
there was that. Gerrit Cole, lastly, to kind of touch. Oh, Glaber also had a great stat line as well, just as Volpe, just as Glaber has been more or less all year. He also went 4-for-11, one home run, one double, except he also got a walk. Volpe hasn't been walking as much. I know that's a young rookie thing. Probably still getting used to, just maturing as a hitter. Volpe also, we'll talk more about actually his stats later, but I'm very excited about Volpe. Glaber's been doing his thing. Gerrit Cole, though, he got lit up in his last start. So I don't want to say has been, but he's been amazing. And then his last start, go figure, against Boston Red Sox. And it wasn't solely like Devers, because Devers has his number. It wasn't like, oh, Rafael Devers had his number, he had a bad outing. It was just like overall not a good.
Stuff wasn't there that day. You know what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. He's human. He was the runner. He's not the runner up. He's the leading Cy Young go-getter
Candidate.
candidate. Thank you. But he went today. You don't normally see this. I don't think he's had an outing this bad this year, which just speaks to how great he's been. 4 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. So
It's almost Severino like.
I know the greatest Severino impression I've seen. So, what do you take from this? Do you think this was just a one and done thing? Do you think he's tired from carrying the team all year? Do you think it's part of it's even being mentally discouraged? We've seen, probably not so much this year, but in years past, you can see the emotions getting to him on the mound. And what do you think? What's your take on this outing? Do you think it's much of nothing or much of something?
I think it's a multitude of things. For me personally, I think it was just a bad outing. He didn't have his stuff there. It is concerning that he doesn't have his stuff when it comes to the Red Sox. I think that's one opponent that he doesn't have nailed down. But what I take from this is more towards his contract, because I know he's a competitive guy, and when your team is not competing, and I can understand as a player that is really frustrating, which probably got to him, because you have all these quality starts going into the year, and now you're towards the end of the season, and you're kind of dude, at some point something has to give, and there's no change within the front office. They're on an 8-game losing streak. Voices are kind of going stale in the locker room. And I think even if some of his quotes are kind of alarming, because what if this is his year that he's I don't want to be here no more, because I wouldn't want to be here if my team is losing consecutively like this, and there's no change or any kind of reason to even be there. We all know he's he doesn't even get injured. He's probably one of our best players. I think I value him more than Judge, only because he doesn't even get hurt. I don't remember a time that he was hurt on the Yankees in his Yankees tenure. So that is very alarming. If you're the front office, or if you're even Steinbrenner, you got to look at this and be like, yo, we can't lose his prime years and let him go. So
yeah,
hopefully they take that as a wake-up call.
Yeah. I think in terms of this start, I agree with you. I feel like it's a little bit of everything. I feel like, I think it's more of Boston, unfortunately, having his number, which, it sucks when our ace is struggles against our rivals. But I think it's that. I think I wonder if I wouldn't be surprised, and he's not going to admit it, but he had a little less motivation than he has in other starts, because obviously we're on 7, or probably at the time we're at 6 games losing in a row. At that point, it was obvious to see that we weren't going to make it anywhere really. So, and yeah, some of his quotes are alarming. But I do think this was just a kind of one and done. I think next game he's going to come back strong. Maybe not shut out strong, but
Oh no, he would definitely come out strong. He's definitely gonna win that Cy Young. I know
yeah,
that's been on
he's
his
shown
mind for a
more
while.
reasons why we should believe he's going to come back strong than he hasn't. Unlike the Yankees and them winning, they've shown us more that, it's kind of harder to believe in them and winning than, harder to believe in them and winning than losing. They're very good at losing. But talking a little bit more on Gerrit Cole, and moving on to our next topic. Don't know how much news this has spurred up, but this started making me really think, and I brought this up to you earlier this week, that with Gerrit Cole being on a very, very bad Yankees team, and not just that, but performing so well, and coming from a Houston Astros franchise that I believe he won a ring with. He
Yeah,
himself was doing incredible with them. And
had
he
incredible years and only lost to Verlander. Isn't that insane? They had
incredible
a 1-2
years, and
punch.
he only lost to his teammate. So that tells you how good the Astros were and the team that he was on. Um,
His
and he
stats were
left
insane.
he
Oh
he,
my God.
he left a dynasty
Yeah.
essentially to go with the Yankees to then lose. Um, and if you don't know, with all this in mind, and you don't know, Gerrit Cole, and as part of his contract in 2024, has an opt out he could agree to, where he will no longer be with the Yankees and he could opt out of his contract. And if you don't know, that's literally the end of next season. And with how things are going for the Yankees, do you believe this is something that Gerrit Cole may exercise, or we're on the verge of possibly losing Cole, like you said, in the end of next year? What also made me think this is because he came out with the quotes when asked in a post-game interview, how would you describe what the Yankees are going through? Cole said he has never experienced anything like this before.
And he's been on the Pirates,
And
y'all.
he's been on the Pirates, dude. And he looks defeated. So it's one thing, go ahead and watch it if you haven't. It's one thing to say that. It's another thing to like see his face and his reaction and just I guess shook is the best word to describe it
Shook
on
his.
on what's going on with the Yankees. And it's just doesn't make it better when he's actually the one carrying the team and he could only carry it so much because he goes out every fifth day. What do you think? Do you think he really is a Yankee forever, like his childhood sign said, or do you think he may opt out in 2024 and go with a contending team?
Dude, let's pause for a second. But at the same time, if he opts out of this contract, the Yankees look embarrassing. They look like an organization that's just dysfunction. That's all I can think about. Because, like you said, he was part of a dynasty. He has his ring. He has been like one of the greatest pitchers that, I think he's probably like one of the better pitchers in Yankees history, if I'm being honest, that I've seen personally.
He's
So
breaking records for the
yeah.
Yankees. So
So yeah, he left that dynasty. He chose to come here because, he obviously I think embodies like Yankees culture to the T. Like he's always trying to be like the best that he could be. He's always been competitive. He just has that natural born culture for the Yankees. He's actually somebody I think that embraces the pinstripes rather than like just thinks of it as another team. So
mhm.
to have him on this team, I'm definitely grateful and appreciative of him. So if he ever like opt out of this contract, it speaks more volumes to the Yankees organization than it does to the player because of the player, they're gonna do what's best for them and their family. And I respect it. If he left, I would respect his decision. I wouldn't think of it like being like a fraud or he's just like doesn't want to be a Yankee. It'd be because the Yankees are not competing and like their goals don't match, if I'm being honest. So I'm really looking forward to next year. I hope we have a rebound year because this year looks like a lost season in general. Just so many injuries, so many like missed opportunities. But dude, we need him. We can't waste his prime years as well. I wouldn't want to waste my prime years as well, just losing. I mean,
So
after you like witness or like you're a part of that like winning culture in Houston, I don't think you want to go to a losing culture ever again.
no. So I'm not wanting to lose him. The only way, in case Gerrit Cole says, "Yeah, I'm out, deuces," the only way that he can actually fulfill his opt out, and it's a part of the contract that the Yankees offer another year for another 36 mil for Gerrit Cole, which I don't know if that's the wisest decision at that point because if you got a guy that doesn't want to be on the Yankees and you're going to force him to stay under those circumstances of paying him more money, which the Yankees clearly don't know how to spend.
Oh no,
Uh,
we don't have any money, David. We don't.
we don't have
We
any
we have
money.
we have patches on our sleeves for no reason. It's okay.
Yeah, so that would be an interesting predicament. And at the end of the day, for those watching, don't get mad if this becomes a reality. We can't get mad at Gerrit Cole. Like Justin said, it's what's best for him and his family. At the end of the day, I feel like we would make the same decision. Because the thing is that the Yankees aren't just doing bad and playing bad. If there's some things that are implying that there's a dysfunction, and I feel like you nailed that. So it's one thing to play for a bad team. It's another thing to play for a dysfunctional team.
Mm.
And I feel like what makes winning teams so good is because they're not dysfunctional. I mean, look at the White Sox. They are amazing on paper, or they were amazing on paper, and they lost what I feel like could have been a huge run for them because they were just dysfunctional. That no one believed in the manager. Something was going on there. Middleton talked about how there was no organization or accountability. So,
Like no direction at all.
hot take: are we the next White Sox?
Okay, buddy. I'm gonna need you to stop right there.
No, but seriously, it's a thing to think about because if next year we got these young guys and the next 2 years we got these young guys and they're not panning out and things aren't working out, or they are working out, but something about the front office is not. That's essentially how the White Sox are. They got Luis Robert, Yoan Moncada. They were all amazing, or they were supposed to do amazing. Moncada, not so much. Luis Robert, yes. They have Dylan Cease and all this, and they're so bad. They're just bad, even though they still beat us in a series, but they're so bad. Um, so
I can see that. I think we're more along the lines of dysfunction in the front office, and we really have this problem where we really don't develop players as we should. Like like the Rays, I don't know what they do. They find somebody off the street and they turn them into like an ace, and it's insane. And we have these like high prospects, and we can't really develop them.
that's the
So
thing,
like,
though. We get good guys. I feel like our scouting is great. Like, we get Aaron Judge. That I know he wasn't a super high pick, I believe, but we got Aaron Judge, and he's the only one that kind of came through that's living up to his potential or exceeding it.
mhm.
Well, we got other guys that I feel like we're mishandling. Once they get to double A, God knows what's going to happen to them. You know what I mean? And it's not in a good way. It's not that we'll trade them away and get good things in return. It's just they may just completely fall through the cracks. So something's going on in the double A to triple A to majors that's just not working out. So, but anyways, all that being said is I don't like I can see why Gerrit Cole will want to opt out. I feel like it's all dependent on how we do next year,
Yeah,
100%.
for sure.
So, and I'm not saying we have to win it all next year for him to stay. I feel like we just have to show some promise. And
No, there has to be some sort of turnaround. He's
yeah,
not staying for a 50-50 or a below 50 team. He's not.
yeah, yeah. And we'll give a little bit more of our predictions and what our aspirations and goals are for next year as we head closer to the off season. But yeah, I totally agree. But it sucks to think that this is even a question that we have to think or discuss. That just tells you how much of a mess the Yankees have been this year. So, but going on to the next topic, a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more on I wouldn't say so much dysfunction, but the bad decisions of the Yankees is, I'm gonna just say it flat out, this Giancarlo Stanton contract.
Mm-hmm. Mixed
Now,
opinions on it.
huh?
I had mixed opinions on it. I don't know about you, but let's
So
get
yeah, I initially I was just glad we did something. And was it 2018 that we did something?
I think so,
But
yeah.
I don't love how it costed us from getting other guys like Bryce
Mm.
Harper, Manny Machado, which since we got Giancarlo Stanton, there was this a whole graph or stat that went out that in like 4 years or 5 years that Stanton's been with us, he's only had a 4 WAR. Um, Manny Machado had like a 19 WAR and Bryce Harper had a 16 WAR, something like that. So that tells you that obviously this was by far the worst out of the three of what the Yankees could have done. And Bryce Harper wasn't that expensive for what you were getting. He wanted to be a Yankee. Um, and he has speed. He was younger, still is young-ish. Um, has incredible leadership, as you see on the Phillies. And not that John Carlos doesn't have his own kind of leadership, but all that being said, this Giancarlo Stanton contract right now, with how he's been playing and how he's been on and off the field and streaky, and at this point not streaky, he's just been bad.
Mm-hmm.
this is turning out to be a really bad contract because we still have 4 more years, and this is what he's getting paid next year. Not this year, next year. He's going to get paid $32 million. I didn't know it was this much. Then the following year, another $32 million. And
Mm-hmm.
then in 26, he's going to get paid 19 and then 15 mil for
Mm-hmm.
essentially a DH. It's not even worth to pay a DH 15 mil, but they're paying him 32, 32, 19, and then 15 in his last year. How do you take this Giancarlo Stanton contract, dude? Because this, to me, this is terrible. This is terrible. And I have a Stanton jersey. He was one of my favorites,
Oh
and it's
God, he's
turning
bringing
out
up this
bad,
Stanton
dude.
jersey.
It's turning out
Like,
really rough, really
I don't like
bad.
the contract, but I got his jersey, y'all. I got his jersey in there.
It's turned out to be a really bad contract. It's not good.
My honest opinion on it. When let's go back to the beginning. So like when we first like got him, I think it was via trade with I think Derek Jeter was like the like one of like he was an owner, right? I believe he was an owner.
I
I
don't
don't
know
think he
at
was
the
like
time,
GM.
but
But I know he was affiliated with the Marlins at the time, and then like we got him through via trade with the Marlins. And I feel like every Yankee fan, we were excited. He was coming off of like I think an MVP year. I think he had just won the home run derby, or was it Judge that year? I don't know. But like there was much hype around him. Now you can compare VIA to like a Manny Machado or like a Bryce Harper, and we can look at that in hindsight and be like, yeah, we would probably want like a Bryce Harper more on our team than less of a Giancarlo Stanton right now. But like I said in the beginning, I was really hyped and excited about it. I think his first year he really struggled with the Yankees. I think like his first like career game at home, he went like 0 for 5 with like 5 strikeouts. It was
well,
not the
actually, his
best
first
introduction.
game, I think it was either at home or away, but his first game with the Yankees, he had 2 home runs.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he had 2 home runs in his first year. He had a decently solid year, or was it his second year? It was one of his first 2 years that he had like, okay, this is the Giancarlo we could expect. He missed some games, but this is the Giancarlo we could expect. And then it's just been since then it's been downhill. That's the problem. So
Yeah, no. Me, I look at his stats and I view him like as like, like above like 250 hitter as an average and like maybe around 25 to 30 home runs a year if we can get that at best. And like, RBIs is another subject, but dude, to me, he shows up more than Judge in the postseason. So like that's why I have like mixed reviews on this because like I know he's not doing the best in this regular season as of right now. I think that's more key to injuries and him playing through injuries because like last year wasn't even like a bad year for him as like, as the home runs go and the average goes. So like this was a really big drop off. But I think the Yankees knew when they took this contract on that the later years of his contract were not going to be as great as like, the prime years of his contract. So I think they knew that going in. I think it's more of a fact of yes, it can be viewed as a bad contract, but I think there was more of a less productive kind of contract because like we were supposed to be like in contention all these years. Like remember 2017, we were coming off an ALCS like, like matchup with the Astros. So I think like they're looking back in hindsight, like, oh, maybe we can get over the hump with like this contract or whatever the case may be. But we kind of like took a step back. So for me, it's more of a mixed opinion. Like obviously he's not doing great right now, and I can't like, back that up. But to me, like his postseason play to me cements it like as a good contract because for Judge to be like, I don't know if you've seen Judge's stats, but compare Judge's stats to Stanton's like stats in the postseason, I think it's more alarming. So to me, I know like with age and injuries, this is not viewed as a great contract, but to me, like he hits the ball as hard as anybody in the league. He can still provide something in a sense. Not great, but he can still provide something.
yeah, and for me, I disagree. I think this was a really bad contract. I see. I like what you were saying in regards to um that they almost made it in 2017. They should have with the cheating Astros. Um, and that they wanted to get over the hump because I believe it wasn't until 2019. I could be wrong, but it wasn't until 2019 that Machado and Bryce Harper were available. Um, so I can see how they wanted an immediate, boost, and that 2018 they really thought was going to be their year. So I could see that, but for the contract that you had to take on, and really for me, what was the worst part that you don't need hindsight for is this is a copy, essentially in its own way, a copy and paste of Judge. You got a big guy, Uh, his, Stanton, believe it or not, hits for a pretty solid average. I want to say he's a 270 career average. So
Yeah,
he's
around
pretty
there.
good. Like that's a sneaky good average, really in today's game with all the home runs that he gets. So he's in his own way similar to Judge. So why would we want the same exact thing? I feel like that's just poor roster construction. And I believe they did it because they knew Marlins were selling and they wanted, what they gave up in return is good. That would have hurt more if they gave up someone that was like that is now incredible. But thankfully they didn't give up much. They really just it's the money issue, which I still don't think is great because to your point, yeah, he could give up 25, maybe 30 something home runs. RBIs are relative to how good the team's doing. And then a 250 average. But is that worth it for someone that's DH, can't run, and is getting paid $32 million a year? That is not acceptable and not the best way to spend your money. So I don't like that at all. And he's only going to get older. I only assume and predict, just as anyone with age, is only going to get worse. Yes, he could hit the ball hard, but this isn't a hitting ball hard competition. You could hit a ball hard right to third base and they'll catch it. Like, and this isn't just beyond you and your take. This is just the Yankees. Like the Yankees are all about exit velo and getting walks. Like it's not a hitting ball hard competition. It's about like, look at the Guardians last year. They're not great this year, but they made it to the ALDS and they almost took us out. And they were just hitting bloopers left and right. Like, baseball's baseball. It's not about it's about scoring runs however you can. Even Aaron Boone says he's like, this isn't um a base hit scoring game. This is a run scoring game. So it doesn't matter how many hits you get, it's about how many runs come across the plate. And it's not about how hard you hit the ball or how many times you hit it over the fence. It's about how many guys you get through home plate. And if you could barely be on the field or you could barely run to home plate and you're getting paid $32 million, I just don't think that's a good contract. And even if we didn't get Machado, uh, even if we didn't get Harper, that's
Who,
$32
by the
million.
way, those two players have not won World Series as well. Their own teams have won World Series without them. I'm not talking about the
But
Royals with Machado. I'm talking about the Dodgers specifically.
but they did make it just as far as us. They made it to the ALCS, didn't they? And then Phillies ended up making it to the World Series on a year that they weren't expected to make. And the one that was leading that team, not the only one, but the one that was leading that team was Bryce Harper. And you saw that leadership shine even in the World Series when I think they whooped. I mean, it was only one game. They lost either way. So yeah, you're right. But they whooped the Astros in one of those games. And so because Bryce Harper saw he was tipping pitches. But anyways, but yes, they didn't win it all. But at that point, it's like, how would Bryce Harper, and then, this is all butterfly effect. How would Bryce Harper mesh with the Yankees team? How would Manny Machado mesh with the Yankees and the players that we have on there? So I see it. And I know a World Series is more than just one player, but it's really how does that player coincide with the rest of the roster? And yeah, what I was saying is like, even if we didn't get Machado or Harper, well, that's 32 mil a year that you could have given to whoever you wanted, Correa, Seager. And there's plenty of guys that you could have given, or you could have split it up. You could have given some, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like at that point, it's just all hindsight, and you just don't know what's going to happen. Like who knows what would have happened, but all in all, beyond all that, that's all just specifics. I see why you may think I see why they made the deal initially, but at the same time I don't. At the end of the day, it's not a good contract. It's not worth it, and it's not looking good for the Yankees. I feel like they got to find a way to get rid of him. At this point, not only is he getting paid too much, but he's taking up a DH spot that could have been used for Judge to rest more, or for anyone else. And it's not making it easy, I feel like, for the Yankees. So I don't think it's a good deal at all. So we got to figure something out with him. So beyond that, let's look on something a little more positive. Like I said, even in the last video, I don't want to just be all negative in the video, and there's some good to take of what's going on with the Yankees, believe it or not. So news that just broke out yesterday, at least as of us recording this video, two top prospects got called up. One, not so much of a prospect, but he got called up. It is Everson Pereira and Oswald Peraza.
This
Let's
is
go,
definitely
man.
more exciting, bro.
So hype.
I am excited for Pereira, bro.
Me too.
I've been more. I think it's more exciting than like last year's call up with Peraza and Cabrera. I think it's. This is definitely. I think he's ready for the big leagues right now. He's batting 300, which is already better than anybody in the Yankees, and has 64 RBIs, I believe. Still, that is still one of the most on the Yankees. Isn't that
I think that
crazy?
could be the most. Yeah. It's insane.
But yeah, how you feeling about these call ups? I know we had like some predictions before, and they might still call up a few more players. I think if I read correctly, but like, how do you think about these call ups?
I like them. We were wrong on our predictions. We thought that Austin Wells was going to get called up. I know I forced
He
us
might
to.
still be. We don't know
Yeah.
because Wardvet is looking really. It's almost a definite out at this point. But yeah, continue.
I, yeah, and I hope he does. But at the same time, at this point, this late in the season, just call him up beginning of next year because you want to give him time to get used to the pitchers. You want to give him time to work with them. So maybe it's irrelevant to kind of do that towards the later part of the season. So I can see why they're waiting. But yeah, if they don't, I was gonna be a little bummed out. I know we were going to be upset in the last video, but I see the logic as to why they wouldn't call him up because
Mhm.
it's different with catchers. So if that's the case, if that's the reason behind it, that makes sense. And let's go ahead and call him up. If he's not in the starting lineup of opening day, then that's when I'll get a little questioned. But with that, corresponding moves were Weiser down to AAA, but Jason Dominguez got promoted. So that's very, very exciting.
Yes, he's now in AAA. Let's
Yeah,
recover that
now we got
stadium.
it wrong. We weren't sure if he was in double or triple, but now he's in
I
AAA.
could have sworn he was in AAA. I don't know why. I was like, he's our top prospect, so
When
I
he told me that, I was
assumed.
like, I could see that, but I guess now he got promoted. I would not be surprised if Spencer Jones gets promoted to Double A, whether this year or beginning of next year. Um, I do think he's already in High A. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's in
Yeah,
High
we gotta make sure the next time we say
A.
he's in the minors. Let's just say that.
Yes, and he's killing it as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets promoted to Double A. But all that being said, focuses on Pereira and Oswald Peraza. I like it. Finally, well, what feels like finally, Peraza is going to get hopefully just the rest of the season just to play, get full chances. I'm curious to see if maybe they shut down DJ LeMahieu for the rest of the season, give
Hmm.
Peraza that third base spot. I split it up with IKF. They go ahead and we still got a move that's got to be made because we moved. We got three people coming back. If you guys don't know, we got Rodon back, or Rodon was already on the roster. He didn't go on the 60, so he's already on the roster, so that's fine. But we have Pereira and Peraza coming up, and then the only one going down is Weiser. My guess, and this is probably going to happen before we even post this video, but my guess is Jake Bowers is gone.
Oh,
He's
you
been really
you
rough.
stole mine, bro. I was
Sorry.
playing, but we are on the same page about this. I think Bowers was more of an experiment, and not to sound like he's not like a great caliber player, but yo, he's having a rough skid right now.
Really
Like,
bad. Like his best Giancarlo Stanton impression right now.
like it's just I think he has the same batting average as Giancarlo Stanton right now, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's like 208. It's not good.
Yeah.
Under league average. He was above average. It's not looking
I
good.
think his like moments came and gone, and I
Yeah.
think it's now time to see what you got with these minor leaguers coming up, which I think is great. That's like the only like thing. I think they were like so like down bad in this 8-game losing streak that they were like, you know what? Let's see what we got here. So let's see if it gives like a little bit of a confidence boost or something. In the case of Oswald Peraza, dude, I think this is his last shot. I think this is the time to see if you have like a hidden gem here, or it's just a bust. And I feel bad because, with all the call-ups and sent downs. But dude, like I hope he's really motivated and plays out this season great because he does seem like a really high prospect. And I know he can be like that great caliber player. But dude, you really have to show it this end of the year. You
Yeah,
have to.
yeah, I agree. Um, I totally agree. I think Oswald Peraza, this is his time. Now if he starts going off, I don't know what that's going to look like for the Yankees. Will the Yankees try to offload DJ? Will they try to trade Glaber for some other guys? Not sure if we want to go the younger route. We already got a few young guys. As you're talking, I just started looking 2, 3 years down the road. It's interesting how Cole's and Judge's contracts are lining up
Hmm.
because it's trying to find that balance where we have young guys that can go off at the same time that Judge and Cole are still in their better years.
Hmm.
Um, so that's really a huge thing. Um, because you would have Everson Pereira left, center eventually maybe Jason Dominguez, right field would be Judge. Um, and then you got what? I don't know if we're going fully young, but third base you got Peraza, short you got Volpe, second you got Torres, first you have for so and then catcher you have Austin Wells, and all those players are coming up within this. I mean, they're happening this year or next year. So, do you think? And this is totally changing the question a little bit, but do you think the Yankees are just going to pivot to these young guys? They should. I think so. It's tough to bank your whole season a winning organization on half of your roster being all young guys, but maybe with the leadership of Judge and Cole, who knows?
Listen, if they can mesh well, I'm all for it. I wouldn't want to have too many young guys on the roster, only due to the fact, like, I do think that you need some veterans, especially with like championship caliber like veterans. Like, I love the Pereira call up. I'm a little hesitant on the Peraza call up, only due to the fact that he's been sent up and sent down like constantly this season and last. So I'm really hoping the best for him. Like when you're envisioning like this team in the years to come, like if we're gonna really call up Dominguez, like I hope he's like ready for the major leagues. Like don't call him up if like you don't have like that answer to center field. Like if we can still get like a high caliber center fielder, I think we should go for it for the time being. Like I don't mind Pereira in left field. But I feel like Dominguez is now that he's getting promoted to AAA, like let's still sign like at least if we sign Bader for like a 1 year kind of proof of deal, or even like a Cody Bellinger, like a 1 year proof of deal as well. Even though he's proven it this year that he's going off.
Yeah,
So
Bellinger's definitely going to get more than just a 1 year deal, but I agree with you
yeah.
with the Bader part. Bader also said he would play here for free. Obviously, he's not, but I think he'll
Yeah, I'll
take
be
a
here in the
home.
stands. It's okay. Yeah, I'll
I
pay you
think he'll
for
take a hometown discount, and I could see the Yankees with them being as cheap as they are going for that.
if
Um,
it's definitely a cheaper deal, I would say go for it if you really believe in Dominguez.
yeah,
Like if he's really the answer, then yeah, I would approve of the Bader signing. But if
yeah,
you
I
don't
agree.
think that you like he's that high on, I think you have to go for like, an off-season like signing.
And with Jason Dominguez getting promoted to AAA this year, I think they believe that he's the answer. And it only seems inevitable that he's going to get called up at some point next year or beginning of 2024. And if that's the case, um, Bader, you get a 1 year deal and that's about it. Or who knows? This is more off season talk. This is going to be his second or third spring training with the Yankees coming up. Is he going to just start like kind of a little bit of a Volpe treatment, start opening day?
Hmm.
Because they're being pretty aggressive. I was not expecting Jason Dominguez to get promoted this soon. He did have a hot streak. He did figure it out a bit. Um, do you think it's going to be of a tryout situation? Maybe.
Could be.
I think it all
Yeah.
depends on if we get to offload anyone. Because if we get to offload anyone, any bigger contracts in the offseason, it will free up payroll to then sign someone for a year or two to let Jason Dominguez develop. If they don't have the money, then I feel like they'll maybe call up Dominguez, or I just don't want next year, and this is getting off topic. I don't want next year to be another let's get 7 left fielders and see if someone sticks. And they don't stick. They stick for 5 seconds and then they're gone. So
Yeah, let's have more of a consistent like play. Let's have like set positions where obviously you're gonna have like the utility guy, like it's gonna come in here and there, like on people's days off. But like even with the lineup as well, dude, there's just so much shakeup. Like it's just insane how many like people have played left field and how many people have been moved up and down the lineup. Like we had to have like some sort of structure.
yeah,
I feel like it would benefit the players as well. I
yeah.
feel like they didn't even know what position they're gonna play. They're like, all right, like let's see who's gonna play left field today. Like they're
Where
just like
lineup am I
in
gonna
the back
hit?
with
Yeah,
like a whole like bingo machine. All right, like, let's get it, guys.
pull from a hat. You just no, but we're overall. I know we're both excited. I'm working tonight. But I am going to be paying close attention. I hope my manager's not. Don't think he's going to watch this.
He's like, oh yeah.
I'm going to be in the office. I'm going to take a couple of minutes while I'm running my emails and stuff. I'm going to be playing that in the background for sure. I'm going to be looking at the stats like crazy. So I'm going to be so forward to seeing those first few at bats, even by Peraza. I know we've seen him already, but I'm a fan of him. I want him to work out, dude. His glove is amazing, and I believe it's harder to teach defense at this level of baseball. I think it's harder to teach defense and offense. I think with offense is more tweaking swings and adjusting and mentality. So defense isn't going to go anywhere. Defense lasts longer than offense in terms of like as you age. So I'm already happy. If Peraza didn't have a glove, I would be less hooked on him. And I know how much the Yankees value defense. So I'm excited. I'm rooting for them. There's really no other thing to look forward to in the season, really, other than Gerrit Cole getting a Cy Young and seeing how these young guys play. So let's get it. So we got one more question.
Mm-hmm.
One more, really just reflection. Anthony Volpe, talking about young guys, Anthony Volpe. And it'll be cool how to see how he kind of meshes with his, fellow minor leaguer prospect guys. But overall, how would you rate his rookie season? His season's not over yet. We still got a month left, I would say, or a little less than a month. Crazy to. Oh wait, no. We have a month and a half. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
math. So sorry. Um, he is sporting a 3.2 WAR. He
Mm-hmm.
has almost 100 hits. He has 89 hits, 17 home runs. He's batting 217, 50 RBIs, 20 stolen bases. He's got maybe about to have a 2020 season. He looks like he's going to have a 2020 season. On base percentage of 293,
That's the only
slugging at
part that I worry about. The on base
398,
percentage.
OPS of 691. It's not even in the 700s. His OPS plus is 89. So chopping up those numbers for his career this year, rookie season, looking at the good, the bad, what early judgment, early recap of his year. How would you? How are you digesting this?
How I would digest it is it's not like, eye popping. You like, like other prospects or any like other rookies, like Corbin Carroll's rookie, right? Like that's insane. Being
MVP.
compared like to even Mike Trout. But I still think it's a solid year, especially on his defense, which I know that was kind of like, is he gonna be like that great defensive shortstop? Which, he has like a lot of pressure on him already with, that position. So I think he's handled it well. He's come up clutch and, key moments. The on base percentage is something that I wish that he would like focus a lot more on. I don't know if like next season he's gonna really try to focus on batting average because the power is there. We all know
Sure.
that. Like if you're having a 2020 season, like that's
As a
insane on its
rookie.
own. Yeah, so like I would say definitely a solid. It's definitely something that I look forward to in his future. Like I don't question it anymore. I'm like, oh, is he the answer? Like, no, I think he is the answer. It's just a matter of like adjustments and like actually maturing in the role and getting comfortable. I feel like he's finally getting comfortable. Like I know it's like only a 217 average, but like he was really down bad in average, and he's kind of gotten it back up. So if he could end the year like around a 240 and like 2020 season, I think that's like that's stellar right there in its own right.
Yeah.
So.
I do want more in the average. I feel like we have enough home run hitters on the Yankee organization. Or well, no one's really hitting home runs, but we
Hmm.
have one of the worst home run seasons we've had in a while. But I want more of a batting average coming out of that position. Um, Balance it out, get 20 home runs in a season as you mature. Be a 20 home run, 20 stolen base guy with a batting average of 280 or 290, and I'll take it. 300, sure. If you want to be, I think he has the potential to be for sure a 30-30 guy.
Hmm.
I think the reason why he hasn't gotten as many stolen bases, he was on pace for 50 at one point. The reason why is because he's not, like you said, getting on base enough. Once he matures as a hitter, figures out how to walk, figures out how to take pitches, which I think Sean Casey is going to help him with, which you see he's already doing. He's bringing that batting average up slowly. I think this, looking at this, it's a promising next, not future, but next season. I'm really hopeful. So I'm not worried about the rookie season. It's a lot of pressure, like you said. His defense has been incredible with everything going on with the old shortstop of the Rays. I feel like he's the front runner for a Gold Glove for shortstop because he was already second. But now with that going on, I don't think they're going to give it to him. I feel like they're going to give it to Volpe. So he could be a Gold Glove 2020 rookie season. Yes, he's batting maybe even if he ends the season batting 220. Like I'm not ecstatic, but I'll take it. Like there's so much my thing is there's so much promise. Like we're not winning this year. So
Hmm.
I'm not worried about you going 30-30. Go 30-30 next year when we have a better chance, or the next 2 years when you're more better developed. I don't need you to come out of the oven, or in this case, I don't need to throw you in the microwave and have you be ready immediately. Like slow cook you a little bit, have you ready for next year or the next 2 years, where that's when it's just these numbers are screaming so much promise and potential. And it's not here right now, but it's coming soon. So
Yeah, I really hope next year he makes the adjustment of higher walks and less strikeouts because to have that like kind of low on base percentage and like, the strikeouts are like kind of like alarming. But if he can kind of like balance that out and get that low to degree, I think he'll be just fine.
absolutely. So there's a lot to look forward to for next year, how Anthony Volpe is going to do next year, even how he ends this year, how the young guys that just came up, how they're going to do this year and how they're going to do next year. It's going to be very, very exciting. Also, another thing that just popped in my head, what if they're calling up Peraza to boost his value so then they could trade him in the offseason? But
You never know.
yeah, we'll see.
But
We'll talk. We'll be providing all those news, all that news. Sorry, early in the morning, all that news to you as it comes. Um, but yeah, man, it was an awesome episode. Let's get those views up again. Can we double down those? Um, but thank you guys for those that do support, those that do like, those that do comment. We see you, we appreciate you, we value you, and you are so welcomed into the community. In one of the next episodes, we want to address some of your guys' comments and hot takes now that we're getting more comments. There was one really good one about the core four that we'd like to address in the last video. If you want to know what that comment is, check out the last video and read the comment.
Mhm.
If not, then stay tuned for next video coming out. We're going to try this 2 times a week. Let's see how it goes. Um, if you guys don't know, we both also work. We have other full-time jobs. So
Okay.
we'll mix it in as we can. But we'd love to make this our full-time gig, whenever it happens, 6 months, a year, whatever. We just have a passion for it, and we're not doing it for the money, but we'd love to do it for the money. And what's most important is just being available to do it for you guys and bringing you guys the content that you want. So hopefully we have the availability to do so as much as we can. We have big goals, big aspirations, and even when it comes to next season, man, we got a lot of things cooking up. So stay
Sure.
tuned. Stay tuned for
Stay
that.
tuned.
It's gonna be good stuff. We got big gold, big vision. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Till next time.
Till
Uh,
next time. Are you want to do it too?
yeah, sure.